Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tickets Towards Success podcast, where we discuss health, fitness, finance, and the personal mindset needed to thrive in all areas of life. I'm your host, Tucker Nanakova, and want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down one of the most powerful forces surrounding success, and that's going to be confidence. Confidence in yourself, confidence in what you're doing, confidence in the people around you. There's fake confidence and there's real confidence. And today we're not going to be talking about the fake confidence. We're going to be talking about the real confidence, which is quiet strength that really allows us to take risks, show up fully, and trust ourselves when no one else does. We're going to talk about how to build confidence from within, how to deal with self-doubt when it hits, and the habits that develop belief in yourself over time. What you can really expect in this episode is the truth about where confidence really comes from, daily habits that build unshakable belief, how to overcome self-doubt, fear, and imposter syndrome. And then I'm going to share some personal stories and tools to grow your self-worth and your confidence. Just as a quick reminder, if you do enjoy today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of today's episode and what kind of episodes you would like to see in the future. I have a ton planned out, but I would always love to hear your feedback, and I would love to fit in some of the topics that you would love for me to talk about. And if you could share this with someone that may benefit from these insights, and I thank you in advance. So let's jump in today's episode. Now, what actually is confidence? Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's not like showing off. It's not something that's loud. It's not something that needs to be put in front of people in a way where you are trying to make them see you. Confidence is about trusting yourself to figure things out, even when you don't know everything yet. Confidence is believing in yourself when no one else does. Everybody has confidence when everybody believes in them. But real confidence comes when you're doing something that you don't know how to do and no one believes in you, but you're confident in yourself that you're going to get the job done. That's where real confidence comes. Confidence is built through action, not overthinking. It's a result of doing hard things, surviving the failures that come in life, and realizing that you're still standing, that you're still willing to keep going, that you're still willing to grow, that you're still looking for the next opportunity to get better. That's what real confidence is. And I think about this a lot. I've heard this from a few people. But we build confidence by having proof. The more proof that we show ourselves, the more confidence that we grow. So we're able to build confidence in ourselves by having undeniable proof that we can do the things that we say we want to do. And it's funny because research actually backs this up. When I was doing research for this podcast, I came across a study, and it was from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. And it found that people who had taken repeated small risks and seen even small successes became more confident over time. Now, there's a lot of data that went into this study. I'd highly encourage you to go check that out on your own. I'm not going to break it down, but I thought that it was super interesting that I came across that study. And it was because that they built a track record of survival. They were able to take these risks. They were able to see these small successes and stack these small wins to build confidence each step along the way. Confidence grows when you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing the things that you say you want to do. Confidence is only grown by showing yourself and showing others that you will do the things, that you can do the things that you say you want to do. It's done through action. It's done through taking action. It's done through putting in the hard work necessary to achieve those goals. That is what confidence is, and that is the true meaning of confidence. Confidence is not showboating in front of people, acting like you have all this confidence in the world. That's not what confidence is. It's about going through the hardships, going through the failures, going through the multiple steps to growing and building that confidence along the way. And the opposite of confidence is self-doubt. And self-doubt is something that everybody experiences. It's something that everyone will go through in their lives. I believe it's something that we have until the day we die. I think it's always in the back of our minds. I think we are always looking at ourselves and wondering if what we are trying to achieve is even possible, because we're always with ourselves. We're always in our minds. I think self-doubt often comes from comparison. It comes from fear of failure. It comes from past criticism that we may have received from people around us or from family members. And it also comes from perfectionism, thinking that we have to be perfect at everything that we do. But the biggest source of self-doubt is inaction, not taking actions on the things that you say that you want to do, that you're going to do. That is the biggest source of self-doubt, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would probably agree with that, and I think a lot of people would understand. Me personally, I feel the most self-doubt when I'm not taking action, when I'm not doing the things, or if I'm missing the things that I know that need to be done. That's when I have that biggest feeling of self-doubt. Because when we don't try, our brains start to believe that we can't, right? And almost like they start to believe that we don't have the willingness to try. And that's kind of where this spiral starts, this spiral of just having these terrible thoughts, and it just continues day after day after day. And we can't get out of it. We feel stuck. We feel like we're in the mud. But the truth is the more that we delay trying to get out of that position, the more that doubt grows, and it keeps growing and growing. The only way to kill that self-doubt is to take action immediately. Something that I've been trying to implement in my life is the 3-2-1 rule. When you hear these thoughts in your head of self-doubt, counting down 3-2-1, and then immediately taking action on something that needs to get done, or just something that is positive, whether that be eating a healthy meal, going for a walk, working out, journaling, reading a book. Trying to use that 3-2-1 method to immediately take action and kill that self-doubt. And while we're doing this, we have to understand that overcoming self-doubt, we have to have this unbreakable belief in ourselves. But not only in ourselves, in our vision that we have for our lives, the goals that we have for our lives, and what we want to achieve. That unbreakable belief. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what our mind says. It doesn't matter what our family says. We have this unbreakable belief in ourselves that we are going to accomplish what we say we want to accomplish, no matter what anyone tells us or no matter what happens in our lives. It does not matter. We're going to keep going no matter what. And I want to reiterate that this feeling of self-doubt is not a bad thing. It's not a sign of weakness. Everybody has these feelings. Truly, it's just a sign that you give a shit. It's a sign that you care about your life. It's a sign that you know that you can do more. There's more for you in this life than what you're currently doing. It's a sign that you care. It's not a bad thing. Everybody goes through these feelings. Everybody has these feelings. It's just something that we have to learn to overcome. Now, when we are trying to build confidence, how do we build that true confidence, that real confidence in ourselves? There's a few actionable takeaways that I wanted to provide you with today. I got 4 of them here. And the first one is keep promises to ourselves. We have to keep promises to ourselves. Every time we follow through on what we say we do, our brain takes notes. When we say, I'm going to train for a marathon and I'm going to run a marathon. And when we actually do that, our brain takes a mental note of that and it says, this is something we've done, something that we can do again, and what else are we capable of? And through this, when we're really starting to go through the initial stages of this, we have to start small. We must show ourselves that we are reliable, that we're willing to do the things that we say we want to do. Self-trust is the foundation of self-confidence. Being able to trust ourselves to do the things that need to be done is a stepping stone, a foundational piece of building that self-confidence. The second one is to face discomfort head on. We've talked about this a few times in other episodes. It's so important, discomfort, being uncomfortable in a healthy way. Because we cannot grow confidence in comfort. We are stagnant when we are comfortable. Whether it's cold plunges, public speaking, tackling big fitness goals, running, whatever that may be, whatever that looks like in your life. We need to learn to lean into the hard things, the hard stuff. How can you make sure that you're doing this? The first thing that you can do is you can start to journal. You can journal your wins and your challenges, your successes and your failures. You can reflect on each day, on each week, whatever you kind of prefer. Make sure that you're doing one thing per day that is uncomfortable. Whether that be making cold calls, whether that be, going for a run, going to the gym, public speaking, doesn't matter. Make sure you're putting yourself in a position one time per day that is uncomfortable to you. The second way that you can help track this is to track your habits and have awareness of what you're actually doing. Just track your habits and how you're moving throughout your day and have that awareness to know if you need to change something or if you're doing something correctly and you need to do more of it. Have that awareness. Mental awareness is so key in our lives. You can also start to try and put yourself in rooms that challenge you and learn to compete against yourself as well. So you want to surround yourself with people that are better than you because the only way to get to that level is to learn from them, to learn how they've moved through their life so far. And I think that we should all learn to compete with ourselves a little bit more. I think there's a time in your life where you need to be competing against others. And depending on the way your life goes, that might be true for a long time. But if it's not like how it is in my life now, you need to learn to compete against yourself. I can't show up to run a marathon and honestly expect to win at this current stage in my life. I'm not saying it's impossible, but having that awareness that that's probably not going to be something that'll happen for me. So I need to learn to compete against myself, learn to compete against my mind, compete against the previous times that I may have ran. And it's so healthy to have that self-competition against yourself. Now, the third way that you can build true confidence is to focus on your strengths. A lot of people will tell you to focus on your weaknesses to try and improve those. I like to flip this. I think it's important to, work on your weaknesses. But I think if we're wired to fixate on what's wrong, we need to flip it. Because we can build momentum with our strengths. So instead of obsessing over, what we're bad at, like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this, I can't figure it out. Focus on your strengths. Focus on honing those in and getting those as best as you can. And then after our foundation is built with our strengths, then we can begin to focus and improve on our weaknesses when we have maybe a little bit more time on our hands, when we are maybe trying to figure out what we want to outsource or not outsource. And what I mean by outsource is, say you are running an online business, for example. Say you have a really good marketing background, for example, and your strength is marketing, but you don't know anything about fulfillment. That's something that's your weakness. And say you really hone in on the marketing, but you don't have the fulfillment, so it's time for you to go and try and maybe work on that weakness. Well, maybe you're in a position where you just want to outsource that to bring someone on to your business and have them take care of the fulfillment because they have an expertise in that. So maybe you want to do that. But the good thing is if you do bring them on, you can learn from them about that fulfillment piece too. So you're still improving your weaknesses without having to go through those mental headaches and those learning curves of trying to improve them. Now, the fourth way that you can build true confidence is by eliminating comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. I've said it so many times in past episodes, but it's so dang true. Comparison kills confidence. Take a break. Don't look at everyone else that's out there. Stay off of social media. I have a hard time with this, just like everybody else. Sometimes we just want to scroll. Sometimes we end up seeing those things and we feel that comparison start to eat away at us. Our mind is constantly measuring our worth by someone else's highlight reel. And that's not healthy. It's not the way it should be. Everybody's on their own journey. Everybody has their own goals. Everybody's in the spot that they should be in. If you have your faith, if you know this is where God wants you to be right now, and there's a reason why, you just haven't figured that out yet. And that's the mission, to figure that out. So focus on yourself, your vision, your goals, your dreams, your life. Everybody's on their own path, like I said. And you are the only one that knows what kind of life you want. So go out there and get it. It doesn't matter if someone else is living a different life than you. You know what kind of life you want. So go out there and get it. It doesn't matter what other people say either. Because once you get it, people will start to say things. And don't listen to them. You know exactly what you want in your life. So my personal experience with confidence and self-doubt. I have experienced a lot of this topic. And I'm going to be real with you guys. Like I said, I always want this podcast to be relatable. There's been so many times that I've doubted myself. And to be honest, it's every every damn day, every single day. Doing all the things that I do, podcast, short form content, trying to build a brand. That's what I'm trying to do. Is what all this is about. Because I think that's the most important thing that you can have in life, is having a successful brand that is respectful. And just having that doubt, when it comes to fitness goals, when it comes to my running goals, starting the podcast, training blocks, general fitness, short form content, like I said, and also just, opening up on my podcast about my personal struggles, whether that's, mental health struggles or physical struggles, but that's hard to do. And, there's self-doubt there with like, should I really be putting this out there? But I think it's important because I think so many people struggle with it and they think that they're alone, but they're not. All of us have these self-doubt issues, these personal struggles. And every single one of these moments really came with doubt. I mean, the way I see it, though, is the only way that we can grow and learn is through taking action. There's simply no other way that you can get out of it. I mean, you can't think your way out of it. Self-doubt is too powerful. And it's hard, but it's worth it. And if you can do that, if you can take action instead of being in that self-doubt thought process, you can start to move on with your life. You can start to move on with your goals. Because when we're building confidence, it doesn't come through, or when we're building confidence, it doesn't come before action. It's built because we are taking action. And what I've learned is that by showing up consistently, even when you are unsure if you can actually accomplish something, even when you're unsure if you should actually be doing something, that is the only way forward. Now, we obviously have conscious decisions about good choices and bad choices. If you're unsure about a good choice, you just have to keep showing up. Now, bad choices, we consciously know those are bad and we shouldn't be doing them. So just be aware of that thought process as well. Now, there's some common mistakes that people make when trying to build this confidence and overcome self-doubt. And the first one is waiting until you feel ready. I've done this so many times. I did this with the podcast. The truth is we never will feel ready. We'll always feel a bit of doubt, and that's never going to go away. It's never going to go away when you start. It's never going to go away when you're successful at it. I'm not successful at it, but I feel like that's what happens, based off listening to successful people talk. It's always going to be there. The second thing is trying to do it all at once, trying to do so many things at once. Confidence really comes in layers and it's built brick by brick. You just have to take it one step at a time. Now, some of you might think, Tucker, you do podcasts, fitness goals, short form content for both the podcast and your personal life. While that is a lot, I had started 2 years ago posting short form content. So it's nothing really too new to me. And I decided only to do it to build a brand around myself, and then also to help spread more awareness about the podcast. It's hard to just keep posting, short clips of the podcast on the podcast's pages and then expect for it to just magically grow. I'm trying to use my personal platform as well to promote the podcast and have people come and listen to it just through the following that I've gained on my personal page as well. So it's a little bit different, but when you're first starting out, just try to focus on one thing that you're really passionate about, that you really want to try and do. And then keep moving forward with that until you are very good at it. And then you can venture off to multiple things. Learn a skill before you move on to another one. The third mistake is tying confidence to results. Confidence is not built off results. Now, I'll give another podcast example. For me, is I have no results of the podcast. There's probably 5 people that I actually know of that have listened to the podcast. One of my episodes has 23 views. That's the most that I have. Which a lot of people would say that must not build a lot of confidence. But truth is, if you go back and you listen to my first episode compared to this one, number 18, it's insanely different. The way I speak, the way I go about the script, the way that I'm trying to relate, the confidence in my voice, you can hear it. If you go back and listen or look at the short form content on the Instagram page or the TikTok page of the Tickets Towards Success podcast, you can see the difference in the change of the short form content over time, over the past 4 months. I have no results, but I'm still growing. I'm still adapting. I'm still learning. I'm building confidence every single day because I'm getting better at it every single day. Whether I see that or not, the proof is in the content that I've already put out. And that's the great thing about posting content, is that you can go back and you can look at how much you've grown. So don't tie confidence to results. It should be tied to effort, because the outcome doesn't define our worth. Results will come after the consistent effort is applied. It's all about consistency early on. And I tell myself every single day, I said, I'm not going to stop. I am not going to stop no matter what. Number 4, common mistake, ignoring your environment. I've talked about this as well. It's super hard. But if the people around us don't uplift us or are not helping us work towards what we want out of life, our confidence is always going to struggle to breathe. If our significant other does not understand what we are trying to accomplish, we are never going to make it to that next level, that next step. We're never going to have that confidence to go that far, to continue to keep going. Our friends, our family, not everyone's going to understand what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do, but it's about that support of them understanding that we're just trying to put ourselves out there. We're just trying to find our way. So if there's negative people in your life, do what you can to get rid of them. You don't need that weighing you down for the rest of your life, especially if you have these goals to accomplish big things. So don't ignore your environment. There are, I kind of just want to leave everyone with some daily habits that can help you build confidence, that have helped me build confidence over the past, 2 years, when I really started implementing daily habits and starting to realize just how important that they are. The first one, it could be just a simple morning routine with purpose, involving some movement, maybe some journaling, maybe reading a Bible, maybe tapping into your faith, and just having some intention with your your morning routine. I'm going to walk you through just my simple morning routine that I try and hit every single morning. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I do try to hit this every single morning. The first one that I do is I wake up, depending on what time I go to sleep, I try to get at least 6 hours of sleep. But the first thing I do in the morning is I do deep breaths and I do 25 push-ups. So the deep breaths, I don't do Wim Hof anymore because I've learned that it can be bad to stress your lungs out that early in the morning. So I just do some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, sometimes in through the nose, out through the nose, just to kind of wake my body up a little bit. The next thing that I do is I drink a big glass of water with some Celtic sea salt in it and some half a lemon juice. I do that just to rehydrate my body, get some electrolytes in after a long night of sleeping. The next thing I do is I take my dog out. I have that responsibility to make sure and do that. And then after that, I will go for a short walk just to get the blood flowing and get outside. Now, this routine, by the way, is completely different when I'm able to run. Some of you know that I can't run right now due to an injury, and I'm awaiting when I can start running again. If I was running, it would go deep breaths, push-ups, water, or that would be actually G1M Sport before my run, and then dog out, and then I'm going for my run. But right now it's walk, and then I come back, and the fifth thing that I do is I will do morning sunlight for about 5 minutes. And then right after that, the sixth and last thing I do is a cold shower and cold exposure to kind of shock the body and wake my body up. So that's my morning routine. You can simplify it even less than that, but this takes, 20 minutes to do. It's really nothing. If you're really on top of it, you can get it done in 20 minutes. I will say that I'm pretty stagnant in the morning, so it takes me about an hour. But that's one thing that you can start to focus on is a morning routine just to build some confidence. The second thing that you can do is just one uncomfortable action per day. We talked about that a little bit. Putting yourself in an uncomfortable position once per day is going to give you a lot of confidence, because at the end of the day, you're going to say, hey, I did that today. I'm satisfied with that. It was a good day. The third thing that you can do is reflect on wins daily and weekly. I do not do this weekly personally, but I try to do it every single day. I write an entry in my journal just about the day, talk about some successes, some failures, and what I thought about that day. The last thing that you can do is you can track your progress in anything that you're doing. Whatever's important to you, you can track your progress if you're trying to build an online business, if you're doing your podcast, if you're doing short form content, when it comes to views, when it comes to likes, when it comes to how you're structuring your content. You can track your progress in fitness, in finance, and personal growth. It can really be anything. Me personally, I will always do fitness. I do finance stuff. And I try to track some progress when it comes to content. But really, I'm just trying to improve that and not necessarily track it. The key thing about all these is that confidence is just, it's built in momentum. If you can build a little bit of momentum, you'll start to build confidence along the way. Confidence just comes when you have that momentum. And that's very, very key. So today, just some key takeaways from today's episode that I want to leave you with here. The first one, we build confidence by having undeniable proof. The only way to build that confidence is by giving ourselves the proof that we will do the things that we say we want to do, that we can do the things that we say we want to do. The second thing is to overcome self-doubt. We must have an unbreakable belief in ourselves and our vision. We must believe in ourselves. You are not going to get anywhere or accomplish anything if you have no belief in yourself. Because I will tell you this, real truth. No one believes in you right now at your point in your journey, because you probably don't have any proof. So the only person that can keep this going, the only person that believes in you is yourself. There's going to be people around you that tell you that they do, but they're just being supportive, which is great. You need those people around you too, but they're just being supportive because they do support you and they love you and they want to support you in what you do, but they don't truly understand the vision and the goals that you have. And they don't have that belief in you, the same belief that you need to have in yourself and your vision. The third thing is that everyone struggles with building confidence and everyone struggles with self-doubt. The only way to get through it is to take action and break out of our comfort zones. I am not my thoughts. I am what I do. We have to take action, get out of our comfort zones, take action now. It's the only way to get to where you want to go. Please, please, please understand that you are not alone. You are not the only person out there that doubts themselves or that is struggling with building confidence. Because honestly, we are all just playing the game of life. And I personally believe that the only way to level up in life is by doing hard things and putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions. And the only way to learn new skills to grow is by being in those uncomfortable situations. And I truly, truly believe that if we can do that, we will continue to get closer to our goals and the life that we inspire to live. It's not easy. Every single day I struggle to keep going. Every single day I struggle to keep putting myself in uncomfortable positions, to keep doing the hard things. But I know at the end of the day that I would rather do hard things and put myself in uncomfortable positions than sit back and watch my life go by and not live out my true purpose and not find my true passion. We have to be willing to do these things. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I hope everyone got some value out of this episode. And it's such an important topic because a lot of people struggle with building confidence. A lot of people struggle with self-doubt, and a lot of people don't talk about it. So I hope that a lot of people will be able to view this episode in the future and they will be able to take some of these insights with them, some of these tools with them to help them in their life. So thank you for tuning in today. I will see everyone in the next episode, and keep collecting